survivors. Welcome to D180, the horror movie podcast taking you on a ride. Thanks for linking up with us this week. I'm AJ.
And I'm Janae.
Hi, girl. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm coolin'. I got my first shot today,
Oh.
and I didn't freak out because I'm scared of needles.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, girl. Girl, I am scared of the weirdest things. Like the dark and the needles are two things that will really just get my goat. But yeah,
That's interesting.
I know. And the biggest one, I'm like literally scared of my own demise. So I guess that's kind of different because it's my own demise and not somebody else's. So I can watch other people in movies all day. But if it was me, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it because it would be over, but I would have a problem with that. Anyway, continuing with our third movie in this month's theme, we're writing 2009's The Stepfather. It's currently available on Netflix if you haven't seen the movie yet. Other subscriptions might cost you some coin, but But before we head off, Janae, I did not forget about you, homegirl. I got your ride Rex for this week.
Okay.
So if you're new here, every week I give Janae 2 movies to watch. More often than not, they're going to relate to the movie that we're watching. So they might be something similar or maybe same genre. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but she's seen it already by chance. And this is for y'all. And if y'all seen it by chance, then somebody out there ain't seen it. So for this week, since we're watching the remake of The Stepfather, she's already seen the original, but that is one movie that's on the list. The next one, number 2, is Tales from the Hood. And because that one has like a small little stepfather bit in there that I think you'll enjoy.
I don't remember if I've seen Tales from the Hood or not.
I feel like that's just one of those ones that's like, our parents was on that, so we just happened to see it, and you might have processed it differently. But I feel like outside of the stepfather one I'm talking about, it's probably gonna be this other scene that you probably know. Like when you see it, you probably gonna be like, oh, that's where that reference come from.
If it aired on BET, then I probably didn't watch it.
I don't. That's a good question. I'm pretty sure it has at some point, but
Because growing up, I was not allowed to watch BET.
Damn, poor thing. No, let me not stunt. I couldn't watch BET until actually no. I mean, I had teenage sisters. I think the impression was they weren't supposed to watch it in front of me, but I definitely was singing thong song like shit.
Yeah, it was a no-no in my house. But as soon as I went to the babysitter house, everybody watched BET in like the big TV room or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I watched Halloween for the first time, was at my babysitter's house.
That's cute. I would feel like as a babysitter, I wouldn't be trying to watch any of those movies. Okay.
Yo, but see, here's the thing. She had a daycare, so it was like a bunch of us, and it was her daughter who would like sometimes throw on the scary movies for us when she would come home from school.
Oh, okay. First of all, she was trying to say,
and like summer camp and stuff, because I would go over there during the summer. So yeah, it was
She sound like me. That sound like something I would do. But speaking of this movie in particular, because that sounds like something I would do as a teenager to my nieces and nephews, because some of them aren't that much younger than me. But when I was 17, I guess, when this movie came out, 2009, I remember going to see this in the theater. And first of all, before that, I remember, and we'll talk about it later, I remember seeing the trailer, being really excited, went to go see the movie, and I liked it. I'm not going to stunt. But later on, I'll tell you guys, I realized what's the reason behind why I liked it so much. Because when I picked it for the podcast, I had such high expectations. I didn't think it was going to be like a gem or anything. But, it was, Penn Badgley in it. I was like, I want to show Janae this. And we watched this. And yeah, I'll just let Janae tell you guys how she feel. See?
So I remember seeing the trailer for it back in high school, but I never went to go see it,
Right.
even though it was PG-13. I
Right.
don't know. I guess I didn't care. I don't know. But watching it now, it was boring.
Yeah. And it's like we'll hash it out in a second.
And the other thing was I felt like I saw it before. And I'm not saying I
Mm-hmm.
felt like I saw it like I saw the exact movie, but the
Mm-hmm.
storyline, I felt like I've seen that type of storyline before. It was kind of boring for me.
Do you think it's because you're like such a true crime aficionado?
I don't think it has anything to do with true crime though.
No, I was just curious. We're both dancers. So when we see other people dance and they just playing in our heads, we like, you know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah, because when I
Yeah.
watched one Bring It On movie one time, like one of the new ones that was on Netflix, and they were doing some horrible dance moves. I was like, what is this?
Or like, oh my God, Save the Last Dance. Girl, why did we think she was going off when we was
Oh no,
younger?
I laugh at that movie now.
Because I watched, I said, oh, a girl, girl, you was not getting the parts with that audition. Okay, let me not go in on her like that because
But I get
auditions
what
are
you
low-key intimidating.
oh God, we're not gonna talk about auditions, child.
Okay.
Because, ooh, child. But I get what you're saying as far as it being like because I like true crime that it wasn't interesting. I don't think that was the case. For me, it was the plot
Mm-hmm.
itself. It
Yeah.
just it had a lot of holes for me.
Yeah. On top of that, I just feel, and I'll go into it later, I feel like it's like slight little tweaks that could have made this so much more better. But so it's directed by Nelson McCormick, and he's actually done the 2008 remake of Prom Night, which, if I remember correctly, because I know I saw that in the theaters, Idris Elba is in that one. And I don't think that one was that good, but I think I liked it once again because I was
I
going to be going to prom in 2 years and I wanted to see what that be like. You already know they be playing on us as teenagers. They be really doing that.
liked it. I didn't see it in theaters. Was that one rated R?
Probably. Now I will tell you the original child, they definitely improved off the original, but I don't know, for some reason, I don't know, it's a blur in my head.
So I don't think I saw it in theaters. I remember watching this one at home with my mom, and we liked it. I remember liking it, but I remember her having issues with it. And I don't remember
Mm.
what her issues were, but I liked it.
Oh no, we gonna have to, finagle that in so I can see because I'm curious. I mean, I can always watch it. It's on Netflix right now, but unless that
Now
got
I
put on
do
the
want to
chopping
watch the
block.
original, and the original I added that to my watch list on Prime.
Now you know what I
So
do like. Okay, now the first one is cool, but it's just like, all right. That second one is a motherfucking ride. Okay.
oh, it has a sequel?
Prom night, baby, yes. Prom night 2, Hello Mary Lou. Woo! It's a dumbass movie, but it's a fun ass movie, okay? And nobody can tell me otherwise. I'm not taking anything else for an answer. John Day, I feel like, and I hope when you see that movie, you enjoy it as much as I do, because that shit is crazy.
I mean, well, which one? The first one, the second one?
The second one.
Oh, I'll have to add that one to my list. I didn't see it
Yes.
because
Yeah.
sometimes when we watch movies, I'll like see what's similar on Prime and I'll just
Mm-hmm.
start like adding it to my watch list for those
Mm-hmm.
days where I'm like, I feel like
And
watching
see,
the
the
movie.
second one, I feel like when you see it, it's going to be one of those movies like you've seen this cover, and you know me, I'm big on my covers. You've seen this cover 1,000 times, I'm sure, and you just probably never thought twice about it. It's a girl, she's in a locker, and it looked like she like got her hands over her chest. She's in a prom dress. It's probably faint in your hair right now, but I promise you, when you see it, you're going to be like, yeah, I've seen this cover before. Jesus.
So I Googled the cover and I have never seen that cover before.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It's for the simple fact that also I have never knew that there was a prom. I knew that there was an original prom night. I didn't know that there was a
Mhm.
sequel.
Yeah, this okay, now I gotta say this. Like I said, the original prom night, it ain't nothing. Don't get too excited because it ain't really too much of nothing. You're gonna
I
see
mean,
some
I like
JLC.
Jamie Lee.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna see some JLC and her prom shaking them titties, but I
Not
mean it
shaking
ain't
titties.
I mean she not naked. She just shaking her shoulders. It's more like shaking her shoulders, but
Oh my gosh.
Produced by Mark Morgan and Greg Mordian. Screenplay by J.S. Cardone. And of course, this is all based off the 1987 film of the same name, The Stepfather, by Donald E. Westlake, Carolyn Starren, and Brian Garfield. And so let's get into this main cast, because this is really what sucked me into this movie for real, for real. So you got Dylan Walsh as the stepfather, and he goes under a few aliases. Then we got Celia Ward as Susan, the mom, Penn Bagley as Michael, the son, Amber Heard as Kelly, the long-term girlfriend, and then, it's other characters involved too, but this is really our main batch right here.
Oh, she was in Aquaman.
Yeah, I know. You know what? To be honest, I'm going to be very, very honest with
I didn't realize that was the same person.
I don't know much about Amber Heard. Like, I know it's something with her and Johnny Depp, but I have no idea what it is. I had no idea who this chick was until all that happened. And I probably know her from other movies, but it's like, I really don't be paying attention to them.
What else was she in? I haven't seen her in anything else.
Yeah, I'm like, people are probably yelling right now, like, she's in this and that. Baby, I don't know none of that.
I mean, I'm looking at her stuff now, and I'm just like, I ain't
you're
seen
looking at
it.
Yeah,
that's what. She was in Magic Mike.
Oh, nope, don't recognize
Pineapple Express.
Might recognize it if I see it.
Let me keep scrolling. A lot of these are movies that I have not seen.
I mean, I know Pineapple Express, but I'm talking about her Survivors Night. Obviously, I've seen Pineapple Express, obviously. Well, whatever. We'll get back to her later.
She was in Friday Night Lights.
It's probably one of those things like we're going to be watching stuff and be like, oh, that's homegirl.
Yeah, like she was in some movie called Zombieland. 3 days to... What?
Zombieland?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Wow.
That movie came out in 2009.
Yeah, maybe I need to watch that again. That's why I was like, hold on now. I've seen that more than a few times. I don't know. I don't be knowing people. It's all right.
It's funny because I don't know some people either. You just recognize their face. And I'm like, she looks familiar, but I didn't realize.
At the same time, you know what that mean when we say somebody look familiar, because... All right, I'm going to get off of it. Of course, you guys know this story. Y'all know that this story in general was based off, a real life crime. But I'm going to save that for when we actually talk about the original Stepfather. And speaking of the original, Terry O'Quinn, who portrayed the original Stepfather, they asked him, well, he's in the first two installments. The third one is played by somebody else, but that's neither here or there. But they asked him to be in this one to have like a small little cameo role. And he turned it down. I really wonder, like, what would the cameo role have been? Like, would it have been something really, really on the nose, or would it have been subtle?
That's a good question.
Like, I'm wondering, like, would it have been, like, a coworker of his, or maybe, like, just something random, like somebody passes passes, like, a paper to him or something, or he, like, passes somebody. You know how they do Stan Lee in the Marvel cameos? He just be in the most randomest parts, and they make my heart happy.
It's so cute.
I think my favorite one is what did I just watch? And Spider-Man was on the bus, and he was like, "What are you kids acting like you never seen a spaceship before?" It was Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man. They was fighting this nigga in the streets, and then the Hulk couldn't turn green. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Somebody's screaming at the podcast right now. It's some movie. But anyway, girl, it's an unrated cut. And first of all, the unrated cut got the audacity to just be 60 seconds longer.
Seriously?
Girl, I'm dead serious. And I'm just like, well, what's in that 60 seconds?
Probably nothing.
Okay, nothing at all. But you know what? Let's just talk about it. You ready to go to the queue line?
Yeah, girl.
Now let's roll out.
Howdy, survivors. Please keep your tips and limbs inside the vehicle and remain seated at all times. Hang on to your personal belongings, especially your minds and spines. 'Cause this here's a doozy.
I have a little game for all my survivors out here. Y'all know we love to party up in the park. This is an adult park. We have kitty themes sometimes, but this is an adult park, honey. So I have a party game. So, you could drink, smoke, whatever you do, whatever it is. Every time when you watch this movie or when we mention it for the podcast, I guess. Every time you see Amber Heard in her bikini or her pajamas, or I guess underwear, whichever you want to call it, it's all cool.
Underwear! I'm sorry if that was really loud. I'm sorry. Because those were not pajamas, and it's rubbing me the wrong way.
Whenever you see her in that state, you know what to do.
Wait, so are you participating too?
I can. I definitely can.
Okay, I'll be back. Here. Let me go get pop open a bottle. I'll be right back.
She really popping.
Okay, I'm back. I decided to go with an easier bottle versus trying to actually pop a cork. So, more little alcohol in there. Okay.
I am dead. Oh my goodness.
Right. And I won't touch that until you mention underwear or bikini.
Ready?
Okay, let's go.
For your cue line game, honey, I want to know if you can tell a celebrity's name from a serial killer's name.
Huh?
I'm going to read off a name, and all you got to do is tell me if it sounds like a celebrity or a serial killer.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my customer service voice. Okay. You ready?
Right. Let's see.
Dean Corll.
What's the last name?
Corll. Corll.
A serial killer.
Ding, 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 ding.
I was about to say, because that last name does not sound familiar to me. That had to be a serial killer.
Elizabeth Grant.
I think that is a celebrity.
Let's see. It is. It's actually Lana Del Rey's name.
Seriously?
Yeah. Pedro Lopez.
Pedro Lopez. That can go either way. But I think that it's a celebrity.
Let's see. It's a serial killer. Oh, she's just a serial killer.
Oh, what did he do?
Okay, I know I said it. I said I wasn't, but he murdered 350 girls.
Who has the time?
Right.
350?
Yes, that's a lot. Carla Homolka.
Oh, no. You said Karma?
Carla Homolka.
Oh, Carla. I think that's a serial killer.
Let's see. Oh, gosh. She helped her husband rape and murder 3 girls.
Ew.
Yes, she is. Yeah, no. Straight to hell. Reginald Dwight.
Reginald Dwight. That sounds like a serial killer too.
Let's see. That is the real name of Elton John. That's a celebrity.
And the other thing too that I was gonna say was that it sounds like someone's real name versus their celebrity name.
Stage name.
Boo.
Rosemary West.
That's a serial killer.
It is. She murdered 10 women. I could hear
that?
them saying her name like on Snapped or something. Dun, 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 dun. Rosemary West. I can hear.
Oh my God.
Randall Woodfield.
Randall who?
Woodfield.
Woodfield?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say celebrity.
That is a serial killer. It's been
Dang
linked
it.
to at least 5 deaths. And just linked, so this does not mean convicted. Eileen.
That means she's still out there?
Yeah, baby.
Oh God.
I know, don't that mess with you a little bit?
Okay, who did you just say?
Eileen Edwards.
Eileen Edwards. I don't know. Celebrity?
I was going to give it to you both ways. That actually is. That's Shania Twain. Let's go, girls.
Is that her name?
Thomas Calloway.
Calloway. That don't sound like a serial killer. That sounds like a celebrity, but then it also sounds like a serial killer because that sounds like a rich name, and some rich people be serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with serial killer.
Let's see. Oh, yo, that's CeeLo Green's real name.
CeeLo, he was serial killer.
Wow, I did not know that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one is, I think it's low-key the same. Eileen Wuornos.
What is the last name?
Wuornos. Wuornos.
Serial killer.
Yes, she killed at least 7 people.
Dang.
For some reason, I feel like this is the lady that they made that movie Monster off of, and I low-key want to look it up, but I'll do it later. Eric Bishop.
Eric Bishop. This sounds like a serial killer too.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna be, you know what? I'm a little mad at you, but it's okay. Girl, that's Jamie Foxx. It was like, as soon as I seen that name, I said, oh, she gonna get this one.
And you know what's so funny? I had literally just seen his real name the other day, but it just didn't click. I keep forgetting that he has a real name.
Yeah, I know. Like, we've really only known him as Jamie.
Like, sir, you that's not your name anymore. Your name's Jamie Foxx.
Okay. Blake Brown.
Why do I feel like that's a celebrity?
Shoot, might be Brown is coming.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's Blake Lively's name. Her real name.
I was right about something.
Adam Wiles.
Adam Wiles?
Mm-hmm.
Like W-Y?
W-I-L-E-S.
Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Serial killer.
That's actually Calvin Harris's real name. It's a celebrity.
Y'all need to use y'all real names. Y'all are names.
And now we have Gwendolyn Graham.
Serial killer. Probably not though, but
That's right. She killed 5 elderly people.
that is so sad.
I know, right?
What did she do?
And our last one, we have Alina Mironov.
Celebrity.
It's a celebrity. It is. That's actually Haren Marin's name.
How did I know?
You did a good job.
Oh man.
Yeah, you got 9 out of 15 correct.
No, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, sis. So, without further ado, you ready to talk about this, Rags? We got things to talk about.
The doozy?
Yeah, it's a doozy. We're calling this one a doozy, y'all. So buckle up, cause when we
I feel
come
like
back,
we're getting on a kiddie ride.
oh no, I would. You know what? Don't do kitty rides like this. But when we come back, we'll be getting into 2009's The Stepfather.
Still can't believe my mom didn't come to the airport.
She has some things to do.
She met this guy?
He seems cool.
Seems like she's rushing into things.
At least you have me. I got something to show you. Oh, I'm so happy to have you home. Michael, this is David.
Good to finally meet you. Your return makes us complete. Family is the most important thing.
Give it a chance. Or you going to do something stupid.
Like what?
Getting sent back to military school?
We're gonna put this family back together. You and me, father and son.
Stepfather.
Stepfather.
What do you guys think of him? Do you like him?
He's nice. Yeah, he takes us to the movies and stuff.
Watch it.
Your mom says you don't want to see me. No, Dad, I'm not the one who left.
You're just a little freaked out that your mom's marrying a stranger. On TV, I saw this woman who drove off a bridge with her 3 kids.
Maybe they disappointed her.
Mrs. Cutter, how are you? Did you happen to see America's Most Wanted last night?
What'd she want?
She had seen the story about this killer, and the police sketches look just like you.
Wait, this will make me a hit with the neighbors.
You got him in. It kind of looks like him.
It could be anybody. Didn't you close your door?
People might get the wrong idea about her.
What do you suppose people think about you moving in with my mother?
What's going on?
The old woman across the street, she fell down her stairs and broke her neck.
John, turn that down now!
Mother said, turn it down.
Have a great day.
If you ever lay a hand on one of my kids
I
again,
was just trying to show him a little discipline.
what do you even know about this guy, huh?
He's hiding something.
It doesn't mean he's a killer. What are you doing?
I'm gonna find out what's in those storage cabinets.
I thought I could make this work. But you can't! I thought you could be Mrs. Grady Edwards! What are you doing, Kelly?
What did you say?
No. Who am I here?
You know what? I know we just black and we just blacker than black, but I still feel like this was a missed opportunity to use that Stepdaddy song. You remember that song? I'ma call your mama. Call your mama. I'ma tell my mama. You so
bad. I'm
bad.
so bad. You just mad because you ain't my dad.
Yeah, like we could have set that off. I'm about to play it.
Do the stepdaddy. Do the stepdaddy. Hey, shut up. I'ma call your mom. I'ma tell your mom. You so bad.
But for real, missed opportunity. But anyway, this trailer, let me tell you something. When I rewatched it for the podcast, I instantly remembered, as I talked about it a little bit earlier, seeing this trailer and wanting to see the movie. But I am very, very upset that the last part of the trailer was not in the movie. And I know y'all looking at me like, Ashley, okay, now if they put that in the movie, you would have been bitching about how they showed everything in the trailer. And you're right, I would have. But I would have loved to seen Homegirl at least get the saw dangled in her face. It completely misses her in the actual. Oh, well, let me put this here. Attention, survivors. From this point on, spoilers will be dropped. If you'd like to skip to the queue line, please refer to the timestamps below. See you on the other side. So yeah, like I was saying is, that third act, it wasn't third act for me. It was not giving like the intensity that they had been kind of building up through the movie. Just didn't give me what I needed at the end. And I would have appreciated that saw dangling in her face. It could have nicked her nose a little bit, like something.
Not nicked her nose.
Something. Just give me something to work with. So when it comes to this opening, I really tried not to be that person, but it's hard because, we open up in what I assume is Christmas, or at least, the season. In a suburban neighborhood, papers are being delivered, and one of the houses has had their subscription canceled. So, they not getting today's tea. What's that about? Now we cut to, no pun intended, Grady Edwards cutting his hair, shaving off his beard, dyeing his hair, and changing his contacts. We look around the house, it's family photos everywhere, and he's in none of them. Wonder why. And also, if it's that many kids in that house, this house is awfully quiet. And it's Christmas? No, that house should be booming. First of all, I don't know if it's Christmas because you wouldn't be going to work on Christmas, I guess. Actually, no. We live in America. Yes, you would. But anyway, he goes downstairs. He plays Silent Night. He gets him some toast with some peanut butter, hangs up the phone that's off the hook. Like he's having a regular day at the park. Whole time. While he's placing, putting back some things, we see that the whole family is bodied in the living room. The dog's outside in the cold barking and shit. And then before he leaves, they give us a flashback of one of the daughters screaming. And for me, I didn't like it. And I think I didn't like it because one, it moves kind of fast. I feel like he gives us a hint of too much sinister in his movements in this opening scene. So when it gets to the family, you kind of was like, okay, I kind of felt off about him in the first place. So there wasn't no real build up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't like the opening compared to the original. So I watched the remake first and then the original,
Mm-hmm.
and you get more context in the original versus the remake.
Yeah.
And also the murder scene was better.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm not going to harp on this too much because it's rated PG-13, and I'm never that person that's like, oh, it's PG-13, I don't want to see it, because we do have some good PG-13s. But
Wasn't
what we
one of the
sacrifice,
Friday movies PG-13?
I don't know. There's a lot of titties up in there. Titties, cussing, drugs. Maybe not. I don't know. That's somebody knows out there.
Like
But
I swear one of the Friday the 13th movies was PG-13. One of
because I
them.
don't think we can figure it out though. But one thing you compromise when you do have PG-13 is how scenes look. And I think one thing for me with this opening scene is I wish that there was some kind of blood. It didn't have to be as bloody as the original. And I'll save that commentary. But if you've seen that opening scene, you already know when you see that first hand smeared on the wall that's bloody and you see the rest, it's a drastic difference from what we get in this opening scene. So now we move on. We get some police exposition. And why don't we don't see these police anymore in this movie besides this scene. But one officer that I noticed was Deirdre Lovejoy. She plays Ronnie, or Rhonda Perlman from The Wire. Love her. But anyway, we learned that the family that got bodied was a female in her late 30s, 3 minors, multiple stab wounds, blunt force trauma. The ex-husband, Dylan Bennett, was, the first suspect because she had a restraining order on him, but based off his reaction to the bloody scene, they rule him out. And I'm like, no, okay, you know what? I'm gonna get off y'all on this no blood thing. But anyway, they move on to the stepfather, Grady Edwards, and they disclose some things about him. So his thing is he likes to cancel newspapers for a little grip before he dips out so the papers don't pile up. He might have done this before because 3 years ago, the same thing happened to a family in New Jersey. Wife, 3 kids, they got gunshots to the back of the head and he bounced. He pays for everything in cash, so he doesn't leave a paper trail. And he only goes after divorcees and widows for legal reasons, and he knows that they're vulnerable. So, he's pretty much a shitbag. And on top of that, it's been 6 months. So, the police, they don't know where he at. But he's bounced out to Oregon, where he meets the Harding family. Currently present at the grocery store are Mom, Susan, and younger kids, Beth and Sean. So he introduces himself now as David Harris, a man who lost his wife and daughter to a car crash by a drunk driver. And, they play cat and mouse through the grocery store. You know how you be trying to do when you see somebody you might think you like them. So, you play eye tag until y'all get out. And if he come talk to you, But this ain't go like that. She goes up to him, invites him out to pizza. And you know what? 6 months later, they engaged to be married.
That's really not that bad.
To get married? Like dating, I don't think that's bad, and moving in and we just, but getting married, you don't think that's bad? I mean, I don't know. I've never been,
Well, when you know, and that goes on both ends. I can say that with my boyfriend, he has been telling me since like maybe a couple months in, like maybe 2 or 3 months in, that he was like, yo, I'm marrying you. So granted, we haven't gotten married. It's been more than a year, but when you know. Now the timing is how fast you do it. That's up to you.
I could take that answer. So we have Michael returning home from military school to a surprise party, even though I don't know how he ain't see all them big ass balloons through them big ass windows. But anyway, he's greeted by everyone and finally meets David, and low key starts picking up on some off stuff, and as you do, he voices his concerns to Kelly, his long-term girlfriend. And, even the mama, Susan, she even questioning herself, like, is she moving too fast? And just like we was talking about, but you know what I got to say? If you got to ask, then you know what it is already. But after an overdone, heartwarming, and family man speech given by David, he invites Michael down to the basement. And then he a serial killer because he goes, meet me down there in 4 minutes. And you know what? I was going to say who does that, but I know that I do that. And my number is 7. Because I definitely text you like, I'll be ready in 7 minutes. Or I'll be here in da-da-da-da-da. And I know I do it. So maybe I'm a budding serial killer. So don't nobody snitch on me because I'm coming for you next.
What?
All right. What you, huh?
Wrong with you?
Before that, though, thanks to Aunt Jackie, she pulled a few strings to get David a real estate job where she works. And, David wasn't too happy about that because he be trying to stay on a low little profile. His job is off the road, whatever that is. But down in the basement, Michael sees that David has installed these locked cabinets and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, David is trying to befriend Michael over discussing his previous swimming career that's currently on hold, and we never come back to that ever at all in the movie. And, well, kind of, but not for real. And Michael used to be a big swimmer. Well, not Michael. David tells Michael that he used to be a big swimmer at U of O. And, baby, they live in Oregon. So why would you do that?
He wasn't thinking.
That's the dumbest lie you could have ever told. But anyway, after promises to be a family, keep Michael home from military school, and tequila shots, they attempt to bond. Also, I just want to say, red flag, you are grown as hell. You do not need a liquor stash. Okay?
Yeah, that was weird. And then I also didn't like the fact that he had all those locks. What you got all those locks for? Why are they, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's just not like it's a gym.
And it's not like you have small children that can get into things, because they wouldn't be in the basement in the first place if they was that small.
And then not only that, the basement had a lock anyway. So what you need all these locks for?
Right. And so this is also the start of where it's established that, this movie was definitely aimed at the teens, because Michael and Kelly, baby, they are making out through this whole daggone movie, okay? And I'm not being like it was overly annoying, but after a while you realize that there was no point to this but for that point of aiming this at us. Well, not us, we're not teens anymore, but then us. And Susan comes to have a conversation with Michael about David, and I'm like, ma'am, that's too late, because my whole thing is Kelly, the girlfriend, knew and met David way before Mike. I know he was in military school, but still, the girlfriend knows about this guy before Michael. And I'm not saying she can't be happy, she can't move on, and she can't be loved, but your kids aren't even over what's happened between you and their biological father. So, it's natural that Michael shuts her down and doesn't want to communicate with her. And this leads her to debate having him staying in military school throughout his senior year, because, she like, I don't know, that temper, I ain't trying to fuck with that this year. But David is like, we got to be a family and he has to be here. And you know what they do? They go ahead and continue to have loud sex with all the kids in the house, and their room just happens to be next to Michael. So that poor thing has to hear all that.
I just want to know, like, who house is that quiet? Like, if I got kids, I'm about to be having music on, TV on, like, okay. I'm trying to have y'all hear everything that I got going on.
Exactly. Like, baby, them walls is thin. But anyway, David goes to speak to the athletic director, Mrs. Rivers. And, he gets Michael back access to the high school's pool along with the keys to his locker. And we got a shot of Kelly in her bikini and pajamas. And actually, you guys got to take 2 sips because I skipped over the one. I kind of briefed it, but 2 sips. Let's go.
About time. My wine over here getting room temperature.
My bad, y'all. So Susan, the mom, asked Sean to turn down the volume on his video game. If you guys have no idea who Sean is, that's the baby brother, and I don't blame you for not knowing who that is because they're barely in the movie. But anyway, unable to hear her, he doesn't, and David charges into the room, grabbing him on the back of his neck and enforcing what she said, which clearly scares him. And first of all, she wasn't even that loud enough for him to even hear her. But two, I really wish they would have gave us more moments like this between Sean, Beth, and David. Like, show us that they're actually starting to be afraid of him. And it don't have to be like, it don't got to be like blatant abuse. It can be him giving them little looks. Like, I mean, I'm going to say black mama stare, but you know, like just little looks like that. Like, I don't know, like little things that just makes them, we can see that they are uncomfortable around them. I wish they would have done that more. But David mentions how he feels that Michael and Kelly are too passionate at this age. And you know, Susan ain't got a problem with it. They've been around each other for a long time. And speaking of Kelly, take another sip, y'all. She in her bikini. Another one. Let's do it. Let's see, look, I just want y'all to know, I think I said this earlier, Janae and I, we don't have a problem with her being in her bikini. The issue is there's no reason for her to be in her bikini this much. Like, we know there's a pool in the backyard, but it's literally there for the male gaze, you know, and the women, because, you know, we like looking too, but it's literally there for that reason. She even says in this particular part of the movie, I like you looking at my body. It's like she's talking to us, you know? We don't have a problem with her being in her bikini. She looks good, but we just saying, like, we ain't always got to be naked, y'all. Anyway, during dinner, Sean is still visibly shaken by what David did earlier. And Michael learns why family is so important to David. Basically what happens, it's one of those situations where you say something and you basically realize you put your foot in your mouth and you get a little tingly feeling in your throat because you ain't know. You know, that's basically what happens. The mom tries to play their daddy, and Beth wasn't going, you know, daughters don't play about their daddies. Have you seen Reginae and Lil Wayne? That girl don't play about her daddy.
Child.
But anyway, she goes on to say, you know, our dad wasn't a bad guy. And she starts talking about this true crime case where this woman drove her kids into a river or a bank or whatever. And the doorbell rings. So everybody at this point, it's a lot of commotion because people go in and answer the door. And David goes, well, maybe they disappointed her. And the only person that hears it is Michael. And he's just like, well, why would you say that? All right. So at the door is Jay, which is their biological father. He's in town for a couple of days. So he scoops up Beth and Sean. But, you know, not before he reads Susan, who really tried it, asking about his relationship status. And you know how exes do. And let me tell you something. This is what he says. He goes, actually, she was working on her PhD. She wasn't that much younger than you were. And she just took a little better care of herself. That's all. Ooh.
The shade of it all.
Girl, you were cruising for a bruising. And he hit you with an uppercut. And those eyebrows went straight to the back. Yes, I love Joanne the Scammer. Eyebrows straight to the back. So, you know, she tries to pick up her face off the floor by saying that his child support check is late. But I'm like, girl, no, just end the conversation. Go back in there with David and Michael because it's over. He killed you. But anyway, back inside, David invites Michael to lunch the following day. Speaking of the following day, we get a visitor. We get Miss Cutters, the neighborhood cat lady who comes by with accusations of seeing David on America's Most Wanted. She actually sees like a face sketch. You know how they be like, if you seen this person, call this hotline. Da, 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 da.
How accurate are face sketches really? Because I feel like they
don't know. I do too. Because I mean, okay, the sketch in this picture, it vaguely looks like him. But then again, how many people have that face though? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people can get,
you'd be surprised because I feel like everybody has a doppelganger.
And that's what I'm saying. You might get the wrong person because you think this person looked like me because we both got square. I don't have a square face. I'm talking about David or Dylan Walsh because we both got square jaw lines and blue eyes. You know they all look alike. Okay, I quit. Okay, so when Miss Cutters comes over, you know, she the cat lady, and Susan has an allergy to cats, and it makes it, you know, her allergies be going crazy out here. So she tells, you know, she got to say it out loud just so we can know that that's a plot point later. And the whole time, Michael's there, so he's hearing all of this. Later at lunch, David asks Michael to be his best man in the wedding, which is another red flag, because why you ain't got no friends? You ain't got nobody you can ask. Anyway, that's when Michael's suspicions really start kicking in, because David even messes up his deceased daughter's name. How you gonna call her Michelle, then call her Lisa, and then say her name is Lisa Michelle? That don't even go. And then, first of all, you idiot, all you had to do was just say that Lisa is my wife's name and Michelle is my daughter, and I was just thinking about them both. Like, you couldn't think that fast? No? Okay. Anyway, I do like the part when Michael actually does call it out, that when he says it, if you notice, there's like police lights shining over David's face while he's lying, trying to get out of it. So if you guys watch the movie, notice that part. You know, I'll be liking little weird shit like that. So back at home, David searches the sketch from America's Most Wanted online, and after a few drive-by mean mugs, he sneaks into Mrs. Cutter's house and throws her down the basement stairs and suffocates her. And I was really trying to figure it out because he only pinches her nose, but I realized that he's holding her mouth closed with the same hand. That's a big hand.
I've had that done to me before. It wasn't very fun. No, it wasn't. It really wasn't at that point. I think that
at that point.
No, because it was no sexual activity happening. We were actually kind of like fighting.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. But also, I have dated someone whose hand was basically the size of my face. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I can see how that's possible.
But you know what? I was also wondering, like, he probably smothers her because he can't strangle her, because if they do an autopsy, they would figure that out. But I was also trying to figure out, would they even do an autopsy because she fell, considering she's older? He really bought himself some time, because I'm skipping forward, but you know they don't find her for another 2 weeks, and you know those cats had to eat her face.
But besides that, can you imagine how her house probably smelled?
Bad. If her cat piss, first of all, okay, you know what? No, I'm not hating on my older seasoned people, but y'all know after a while, y'all house starts smelling like old seasoned people. So you got old seasoned people smelling, and you got cats, and then you got dead body. Oh, hell no. Anyway, take another sip for that, and because in this next scene, my homegirl's in a bikini. So go ahead, y'all. Take a sip, take a smoke, whatever it is. Michael opens up to Kelly about his feelings about getting another father, despite not being able to communicate with his own. And instead of giving us scenes showing us this, like some type of progression, baby, we get a soft sex scene. So go ahead, take another one.
Lord, I'm gonna have to fill my glass soon.
We ain't gonna finish this podcast. One gonna be too lit and the other gonna be...
I almost spit it out.
So while they're doing that, David sneakily catches them, and this scares Kelly so bad. She going home, but I feel her, because me too. And Penn giving David this middle finger when he leaves out the room. I said, baby, that's me, because I done gave my parents so many fingers behind their back.
That silent cuss out as you walk up the steps to your room after you done got beat.
Saying the wildest shit in my head. I just know I do. But anyway, this incident leads to a dinner discussion between David, Susan, and Michael about being discreet and careful. You know, they be just talking about how it's not proper for Kelly to be seen in this light. And I'm like, well, what's that? You trying to say she fast because she over here all the time? But you know what? I have to say that this scene does happen in the original. Obviously, it's the reverse, because the main character in the original is a girl. But I have to give credit to this movie, because usually, you know, they don't do that to boys. They just let y'all do whatever. They really don't say too much to y'all, not all the time. So the fact that they actually do that, I did like that.
So I don't think that he was trying to say that she fast because they over there all the time.
Right.
I think she was trying to say that she fast because they was going a little bit too far. Like, I can never do that. But see, here's the thing. I can never do that in a pool at my parents' house.
And I have a pool.
I would
in my
never.
backyard. And one thing, when the guy I was dating in high school, if we did get in a pool in the backyard, my parents were always sitting in the sunroom or in the kitchen. And I'm pretty sure they wasn't hawk-eyed watching, but I'm with you. Like, we couldn't do that. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't even dream of kissing a significant other in front of my parents unless I wanted to get him shot and I wanted to never see the light of day ever again.
Okay, like even like little pecks, like even the way that they were on each other at the little surprise party, all up in the
That
chair and
too.
stuff. I'm like,
The most that you would get out of me if I'm around my family is a hug.
mm-hmm.
And we may
And us
hold
just sitting next to
hands.
each other, and that's it.
Like, so one time my boyfriend at the time, he met us in Myrtle Beach for family vacation, and he stayed in a
Mm-hmm.
separate hotel. And the most that we did was walk arm in arm when we were walking around. I think where were we at? We were at a an outlet mall. That was the extent of it. Around them, that was the extent of
Cause
it.
it's just
Okay.
like you already know what comes. Okay, being in a Black family, you already know how they do us, especially girls.
Oh my gosh. You were like, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but they were so fearful of me getting pregnant or even getting some type of STD that in high school, from middle school to high school, I was in a teenage pregnancy prevention program at my church.
Don't let me find out you was dying. You did. That's when you told me this. That's when you told me when we did the teeth episode.
Yes,
Like, what?
yes. I was in a teenage pregnancy prevention program at my church, and not only talked about that, but they also talked about HIV and AIDS too. So it was kind of like I knew like all the statistics, all of everything before I even graduated high school. But the crazy thing about it was like almost everybody except for me and my god brothers, everybody had a baby in high school. So I was
Right.
like, so this program really didn't work. So
Right. Okay. What was the point?
but
Because
I mean,
really, girls were pressing us, and everybody wanted to see what that'd be like, and everybody went too far. That's what happened.
I got great info, and I ended up not having sex until after I had high school because like I was scared.
Right.
But I mean,
Right.
child,
I know. So, in the
Black parents
story,
go far.
you know what? That's a conversation for another day. Well, speaking of conversations, you know what got me conveniently, despite the fact that they have had to been in contact with each other long before dinner started. Susan starts sneezing, which makes her instantly think that Miss Cutter's been around. And David explains it off as, the family that he was showing a property to had cats. But I'm like, okay, I've been told that, yes, that can work like that because the hair and the dander can linger on you. But still, like I said, my issue is you've been around him for a minute. So I feel like you would have been sneezing or sniffling, something. Like through this whole scene, girl, you've been clear as a whistle.
Maybe they were waiting for the perfect time to announce her sneeze. They had to build the suspense first and then say, okay, cue sneeze, action.
Or something, because I'm just like, girl. Well, anyway, you know what? It's some real action because Jay comes in hella hot, confronting David about laying hands on his younger son, Sean. And he warns Susan that she literally has no idea of anything that David is about while he's threatening him whole time. So Michael, being the older brother, takes him outside, him as in Jay, and reveals that he doesn't trust him. And, they just talking. Basically, what's starting to happen is Michael and Jay's relationship is kind of starting to get better. Like, Jay explains that I left your mother. I didn't leave you kids, and I still want to be in your life. And, I can get down with that. Susan comforts Sean, and David forcibly intervenes in an attempt to apologize. And basically what he's trying to do is win back over Sean, and more importantly, Susan. And later, she tells him that she's not okay with how he handled the situation because she wasn't raised like that, and she never resorted to violence when it came to her children. So she would appreciate if you didn't do that, sir. Thanks. So over the next few scenes, suspicions are just starting to mount up against David. Michael catches him pacing and whispering to himself in the middle of the night. And then this nigga ups and quits his job when Jackie asks him for photo ID and other forms of identification because that's a no-no. He can't turn that in. He probably ain't even got it. He paid for everything in cash. So what he does is he tells Susan that he wants to go back to his old career off the road, and he'll try to, find something that's not too far off. So Oh my God, this next scene, I was so sad. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, they do it, but I wish they would have done it a little bit more. Sean being scared when him and Michael are playing video games, and Michael turns the video game on, it's kind of loud, and Sean gets scared because he thinks David is going to come upstairs. I'm like, that's so sad. You should have gave me more of that. Make me feel bad for these kids and want them to get out. But anyway, David starts being cold towards Susan. You know, she tries to get him out for drinks and plan a wedding, and nah, he ain't going. He got stuff on his mind, baby, because he sits at this little nook and sharpens all these pencils. And I'm just like, yeah, this nigga's a serial killer.
Or has severe OCD.
Jay stops by because he wants to see his kids before he leaves out of town. And he, you know, he tries to make amends, quote unquote, with David. And he goes on to say that, you know, I went to U of O too. And interestingly enough, the alumni office has never heard of you. There are 4 other David Harrises, but none of them are you, because you said you swim, and no. He got caught in a lie. David smashes a glass on Jay's head. And I don't know how, because I know kids, even though Michael's a teenager grown man, kids run when they hear noises. Okay? And even though Sean was scared, so that's probably why he didn't move, so that does work. I don't believe out of all the times that Michael walked out of his room and to the stair ledge that he didn't do it this one time when his dad is getting killed. Pretty convenient. But anyway, knowing that Michael and Jay's relationship has been getting a little better, David has to keep up the whole facade that Jay is alive. So what he does is he sends him a text saying that, you know, I actually do like David, and making it seem as if he's alive. And he also goes ahead and apologizes for not stopping by and seeing him. And, you know, this is a big deal for Michael. So, you know, he all up in his feelings. He's crying. And I felt so bad because that was my little teenage angst self. Like, one thing about me, baby, I was going to throw on some headphones and play a sad playlist. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't taking no damn pictures of me crying. That's too fucking far. If you can do that, bitch, you ain't sad. Okay? Anyway.
I've done that with my boyfriend though.
Girl,
that's different.
Girl. Get out. Girls who used to literally sit there and take pictures of themselves with that one struggle ass tear.
Oh no, I be looking like Kim Kardashian.
Girl, okay.
But worse.
All right, anyway, while at the bar, Jackie tells Susan again her suspicions about David and continues to call out the fact that Susan really does not know this man. And it's so sad because Susan tries to play it off and she's talking about, you know, I want a 10-minute wedding in Vegas. And then flips the story again talking about, well, you guys need to be happy for me. And I thought everybody would just be here for me. You're all against me and my relationship, bitch.
Bitch, you reek of desperate at this point.
Like, at this point.
Honestly, by this point in the movie, I was like, girl, you just desperate and sad.
Yeah, and it makes
I feel bad for saying that, but...
No, you don't feel bad, because the thing is, this movie, I was watching behind the scene interviews and they're talking about how they're trying to show people how divorced women and widow women want to be loved, and you know, we don't really see them much. Well, this is not how they want to be represented. They not this stupid.
Because it makes it look like all divorcees and widowers are
desperate.
And desperate.
Yeah, and just want some dick. And that's not the case. It's really not.
They can get on Tinder. There's old people on Tinder and plenty of fish.
Okay.
Hello.
Christian Mingle.
I wonder if anybody actually used Christian Mingle. Like,
would that be crazy if they were really lying about their stats? Like, can they do that? Can they lie?
Yes, you can lie. But now it's gotten so common to catfish that a lot of dating apps and dating sites have the ability for you to be verified. And so in order to get verified, you have to send in a picture of yourself to whoever the admins are to prove that you're real. And then they'll put like a check mark, like a verified check mark on your profile. So that way, whoever's swiping you knows that you're real. You've been verified by Tinder. Because like I know with Tinder, for example, you actually have to like hold the phone up and like the AR will say, okay, hold your face to the front, hold your face to the right, hold your face to the left, and it will take it right then and there.
Oh, hell no.
Right. And then it's based off of like one of your pictures. Mm-hmm. So it helps. So like if you're really looking for somebody who's legit, you only look for other people who have blue check marks too.
Mm-hmm. That's too much.
Yeah.
But back at the hotel, Aunt Jackie and her wife Leah point out the fact that David always pays in cash, and we're younger millennials, kind of on the cusp of zillennial. But one thing about us, we ain't missing out on no points. Okay, I ain't never in my life missed out on points.
Listen, I do everything for points, cash back, upload receipts to Ibotta, and what's the other one? Fetch.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
there's another one too.
That's my mom's favorite.
But I can't.
Dash.
Oh, I don't do that one.
Girl, she loves some Dash.
What else? Oh, I do Drop, Rakuten.
Mm-hmm.
And then because Ibotta, I be redeeming those for Southwest gift cards, and that's how I be getting my travel on, honey. Because Southwest, you get them 2 free check bags. Okay.
Y'all better get this free knowledge. She telling y'all. Oh, and if y'all didn't know, John A actually is a trip advisor. So if y'all need to actually, jump on that. So throughout the next few scenes, we get some fighting. We get fighting between Susan and Michael. Then, David is still being cold towards Susan and all of that. But what ends up happening is they find the neighbor's body. And David, well, before this happened, the mailman tells David what happens, right? David comes in and tells the family this whole story. And Michael is like, the mailman ain't tell you that. So how the lady broke down and fell her neck? Like, it's not making sense. But what is making sense, Johnny? This glass up to your lips, because baby, she back in the bikini.
All right, this is the end of my glass. I gotta pour
Go Survivors.
Gosh, okay. Let me go ahead and prepare my glass for the next one.
Like the 5th or 6th one. So
here we go.
But while she's doing,
there's my second glass.
Ooh, okay, child. Well, go on, take another sip, because this is the scene where Michael and Kelly get left alone by David, because David has to go get Beth and Sean. And during this time, that's when they're sneaking around the house. They make it up to the room. But what ends up happening is, first of all, rule number 1 is, because, baby, this was my prime time sneak to do, okay? You do not take action within the first 5-10 minutes that somebody leaves, okay? You wait. Especially if you know where they're going and you know how to time them out. You wait a second, because you never know what can happen. What happens is Susan ends up being closer to pick up the kids than David is. So she goes, I'll pick them up. You go back, go home. He does. And guess what? He figures out that Kelly and Michael have been walking around the house because he sees their wet footprints. But I mean, like, them footprints could have been going anywhere. I know they're going upstairs, but ain't all the rooms upstairs?
Yeah.
As far as we know. But then, we hear a splash in the pool. So somehow they got out of David's room and into the pool.
I want to know how that happened. But
I really want to know how that happened. Because what would have made sense? If their room, how at the very end, like, they break through that window and get on the roof?
Yeah.
If, like, they had, like, maybe, like, an opening balcony and, like, I don't know. Maybe if those two things were the same, it would have made more sense, if you can kind of see what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Sorry, my train of thought, I got lost it. But I agree with your logic on that.
At this point, that David is on to them, and his mind is going crazy because he's staring daggers at Michael during dinner, and he even hallucinates seeing the previous family that we see in the opening scene. Like Beth is the only one that really fuck with him for real. But I just think they just wrote that because she's supposed to be a sweet little teenage girl. I think they should have made her a little sassy. But anyway, when she checks on him, he hallucinates, and, it's not a good time for him. But it is a good time. Another sip, because she in her pajamas this time.
Underwear.
Go for it. So David also lets Michael low-key know that he's on to him. I thought we were on to a good start, but we ain't about to be doing this sneaking around and all of that stuff. And he also tries to threaten Michael low-key, talking about, you got to keep a clean image to stay here. Nick, so what you mean? You about to start snitching and lying and stuff on Michael? You a bitch.
Yep.
So Michael finds the America's Most Wanted sketch in the website history browser and wants to show Kelly. And you know what else? Take another sip. She's in that bikini.
I blame myself because I'm not even taking sips. I'm taking gulps.
Oh, damn. That was a rough day. However, Kelly is trying to get him to focus on college applications. And at this point, all he could think about is trying to figure out how to prove how David is a motherfucking killer. And he's obsessed at this point, and Kelly ain't going for it. She even goes as far to claim that she slept with somebody. This does not get Michael attention at all. So she bounces. She's upset. She's mad. And you know what I'm mad about? I'm mad about this little side plot because I would have loved it so much more if we were seeing her trying to maybe get him back into the high school, into the swim team, or I just feel like I know she the long-term girlfriend, but I'm like, y'all be doing too much. You long-term girlfriends that be in high school, y'all be doing a lot.
I get it. She was trying to fill out college applications because she was ready for the next level, but he don't know if he's staying or going at this point.
And then on top of that, and I know this ain't got nothing to do with nothing, y'all know how boys act in college, baby. And if you don't know, get ready because they act a whole different type of fool. You thought they was crazy in high school? Wait till they get to college. They be acting a plumb damn fool. Anyway, Kelly, and I should make y'all drink for this, but I won't. Kelly picks up on David's creep vibes when he corners her in the kitchen while she's still in her bikini, and it makes her really uncomfortable. She starts to cover up, which I probably would have did that already. I mean, you coming from outside, inside, it was probably a little breezy. But just me. Still keeping up the facade with Jay's phone texting Michael, David stumbles upon a message from Aunt Jackie letting him know that Jackie and Jay were in cahoots together to expose him. The phone begins to ring because it's Michael calling. He want to talk to his daddy. And what ends up happening is this shit is not on silent. And Michael hears the faint ringing and, he following it as you do. And he questions David, but David, he done pulled it together and was pretending like he was doing some work or something. I don't know how he did it. But Michael also questions where's the missing basement key because why is that not in the door? Why is it gone? It was always in the door. Michael goes ahead and sneaks a picture of David, but somehow it's been deleted while Michael was in the shower because his dumb ass left his phone in his room. I don't know about you, Johnny, but I take my phone everywhere. I don't care. I know you shouldn't take it in the bathroom when you poop because of all of the germs. But at this point, I wipe my phone down a lot. So I'm pretty sure we're fine. But I don't have anything to hide. But most of the time I'm listening to music or a podcast. I'm just not. My phone is not with me.
So I take my phone when I'm using the bathroom. But when I'm taking a shower, it's on the charger along with my Apple Watch. Unless I'm washing my hair. Then I'll have it in the bathroom along with the speaker because it takes a long time to wash this head, and I need some tunes to go along with it. But
and
for
then,
the most part,
now we have locks on our phone. This was 2009. He ain't have no lock. I ain't even think about that. But another thing.
I had a lock on my phone.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't think I did. Well, then again, it's 2009. I think I had that little juke. I don't think I had a razor. I had
I had a chocolate. I
wanted a chocolate so bad.
I still got it. It's somewhere.
I still got my juke.
And I had the NV2. I had a bunch of the little slide-up phones. I had, oh my God.
Well, you had to be there. You really had to be there. If y'all missed it, sucks to suck, man. But you know what? Michael pissed me off because I cannot remember, and I meant to note this down. In the beginning of the movie, they make a note about his room being junky. But when he finds his phone and realizes the picture is gone, his room is straightened up. So why didn't you say that? Because we would have believed that. Because, yeah, teenage boys, their room be fucked up. Well, not all, but some of them, yeah. So anyway, despite David having left that realtor job Aunt Jackie got him, he still needs documentation for legal purposes. So, he got to fix this issue. And what he does is he intercepts an email to Susan from Jackie about hiring an investigator. Because remember that he already knew that she and Jay was in cahoots. So what he does is he goes ahead, cancels that newspaper subscription. If you know, you know. Then he goes to Jackie's house and drowns her in the pool, making out to look as if she fell in while trying to reach an umbrella. Then later at home, and after a whole lot of lies, David slips Susan half a sleeping pill. First of all, girl, I know that's supposed to be somebody you trust, but girl, hell no. You ain't even look at the pill before you took it. Well, I guess he told her it was a sleeping pill, but girl, still, you don't know what that was. Anyway, and he has his grooming kit laid out in the bathroom, so you already know what he finna do. Y'all, if y'all hear people in the background, it's okay. Meanwhile, Michael convinces Kelly to hold him down because, he's determined to discover what's in those locked cabinets. So breaking into the basement, Michael eventually discovers his dad's belongings and his dad's body in the freezer. Unable to reach Michael by phone after seeing a light come on in the house, Kelly decides to leave the car and go get him. And David knocks her the fuck out and traps Michael in the basement. And, all this commotion finally wakes up Susan, and And David berates her parenting skills and says that he thought that she could be the next Mrs. Grady Edwards. And who? Who that? Because Susan, I don't know who that is. And of course, David, he's in confusion like the Mr. Krabs meme. And he's just, who am I here? And you know what? Let me pause you right there because I did not like that line. I was so upset because I was low-key hyped for it. But I feel like they probably got another take where he said it better. I don't know. It's something about the way he says it that doesn't hit like the original. And I'm not being one of those Nazis, like the original. I will say that it was something about the way he delivered that I didn't like.
After watching the original, I don't know. I think I actually preferred the remix version of Who Am I Here versus the original. They kind of seem the same to me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I think for me what it is in the original, he really gets caught up in what he's doing. So he genuinely fucks it up and get confused. But for this one, I think it's the music that gets me with this one, because you know how I always talk about I hate when the music tells me what I'm supposed to be doing, like blatantly tells me. And the music, literally, the violins stir up and then they stop. He delivers the line, and boom, the fight goes on, and he's chasing her through the house, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, it didn't do it for me, but it's okay. So once David Harris realizes who he is, he chases Susan running through the house.
Running through a nigga house like a Tomb Raider.
You know what? I'm done. I am done. You know what?
At least we don't have any more scenes of her in her bikini.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if she had one on up under this jogging suit while she laid out unconscious on that ground. I would not be surprised.
Shut up.
So while Susan is in the bathroom, we kind of get a call back to the original when David is banging on the door and the glass breaks. She picks up the shard of glass. She stabs him in the neck. We think he's dead. Yay. Y'all know damn well this nigga ain't dead. Michael escapes the basement. They find Kelly. They in the hallway. Like I said, this nigga ain't dead. He blocks the stairs, so they got to go up into the attic where he and Michael fight. Now remember, David was up there doing some roof work or whatever the hell he was doing, so they can only walk on the beams, because if you walk anywhere else, you're about to fall straight through that roof. And that's exactly what happens. After Kelly tries to be a final girl and pick up this little saw, and I don't know what she thought she was about to do with that, but her and Susan fall through the roof, and Michael and David start to fight. Well, actually, no. Kelly and Susan fall through like the actual house roof, the ceiling. And then David and Michael, while they're fighting, they fall through a window onto a roof, and then they fall off the roof. You know, they play a little Lion King first, because David falls first, but you know, he took Mufasa with him. They both fell, and they lie there unconscious.
Oh.
I have an issue with this next scene. How the F are Kelly and Susan alongside Michael? Shouldn't they be getting checked out for
I don't
concussions,
think
for
I don't
cuts?
think they had a big as a fall as the boy, because he fell on concrete, and I feel like that was a bigger fall, because mind you, he
Right, because
falling
he was
from
in a
the
coma.
attic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was from the attic to the main level floor, whereas they fell through just to the level underneath him. He fell 2 stories. They only fell one.
I didn't even realize that. Wow, you're right. Well, I mean, obviously, I feel like if you fall on concrete from any story in general, you're going to cut
Yeah, and then
something.
that
But
was more like wood, like
yeah,
hardwood floor versus concrete.
you're
And it was
right.
only
I
one.
still feel like they should be getting checked out for something.
I
But
mean, they could have gotten checked out at the scene, sometimes the hospital, like the ambulances
yeah,
or whatever. But they kind of
yeah,
probably could have been G's was like, no, fuck that shit.
yeah,
We're chasing
adrenaline.
after him.
A little month later, Michael wakes up from a coma. He learns that David is still alive and fled the scene before the police arrived. Dun dun dun. Of course he did. Girl.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
You know what? David has poorly changed his appearance, okay? And now he's Chris Ames. He's working at a hardware store where he meets another woman who's shopping with her 2 boys while a cover of So Happy Together plays. And that's all right. You can unbuckle your restraints while we share our thoughts. And let me tell you, I'm going to start off with my positives because it's short, baby. I do like... I didn't necessarily hate it, but I do like how they spin some of the scenes from the original. Yeah, that's it. Now for my negatives.
Oh my God.
Because I mean, I talked about it through the movie, so I'm not, I don't want to reiterate myself too much. But like I said, I did like the movie when I was younger because it was aimed towards my age group. But now that I'm watching it with an older eye, it's just like, it's so many things that I realize don't work. But like I said, I have to accept that. But where were the younger siblings through this movie? I mean, like, we know where they were, but they should have played more of a role in the relationships with David. Make us see that David is low-key like a shitty guy. Like, he's trying to be in control of a family, which is ultimately what he wants. And this is why he goes after these types of families, because he's trying to control them. Show us that through the kids. Like, we get this one scene with Sean. That's really it,
The kids, I just think that they were kind of like placeholders.
Placeholders and convenience, because the whole third scene, they're not there. Even in the hospital, like, Kelly is there, which, I would expect that type of girlfriend to be there. Y'all know how y'all do. No shade. But where your siblings?
Oh, because I think didn't they go to camp? Yeah, they were supposed to, that they went to go see their dad before they went to camp.
Oh,
Dad's
yeah,
gone,
you're right.
And now I think they went to camp. Either they were at a friend's or something, but they weren't home.
And if his MO is to kill the entire family, then why would you just leave them 2 kids? Because now we really know it's you, and they know what you look like.
I mean,
so that wasn't smart.
The other people knew the brother-in-law knew what he looked like too, from the other family.
The brother-in-law.
Oh shit, Michael? I'm thinking about the original.
Oh yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, wait. But see, that's what I'm saying, because in the original, he didn't know about the stepbrother. So that's how that fell through. But here in the remake, he's aware, like, you lived with these mofos for almost a year, So I'm just like, you fumbling the serial killer bag here for your MO, honey. It's messy and I need to clean it up.
It's too messy, because not only did he kill the family, he killed the friend too.
Mm-hmm.
And so the wife won't come home and know that it's him, because for one, homegirl ain't never gonna show up on vacation, missed the flight,
right?
And she already was complaining about dude before she even left. So.
Right. Yeah, all those people at the cookout. And I mean, you can say that for the original too, but I'm just like, boy, this is messy. But you know what I would love? If they redo this movie, I want to see a family of color, preferably Black, but it really don't matter. I want to see a family of color, because not saying Caucasian families don't go through stepfathers, stepmothers, everybody does. But I feel like for us, that would be something to see, because you already know how it is. If it's static, Y'all already know how that is. And that would make such a good story. Another thing I would like to see if they do a remake is I want him to kill everybody. Like, show us. Like, I hate, for the most part, when we get to the movie, this is the one time when the villain meets their demise. No, show us. Show me. Do it. Like, just nobody survives. Everybody get bodied. And if that means that you got to take younger age children out the movie to make you feel better so you can sleep at night, then do that then. But I want to see a Stepfather movie where he kills everybody, changes his identity, and bounces. And then if y'all want to make a sequel and that's what he dies in, then do what you will. But that's what I want.
I feel like they should. I don't want them to remake it, but I do think that they should do a sequel since he got away, but make it better. Because this movie was some booty to me. Like, I'm telling you, I was struggling to stay awake during this movie. I was falling asleep. It was a little boring. I feel like there were plot holes. I don't feel like it was like a continuous story like the original. Yeah. You got to see more of the stepfather's nuances, his plans. You actually got to see like, oh, well, yep, time for a new family. Let me go set this up and then come back and kill you. In this movie, it was a lot of unnecessary scenes.
Yeah. And you know, I'm going to say one more thing before we go ahead and rate this thing and head off to the souvenir shop. If they go ahead and make a different version of this, whatever that looked like, I feel like they need to make the stepfather similar to Penn Badgley's character in You. It needs to be somebody that we are literally, and don't make it through his point of view though, because obviously You works because we're on Joe's side already, so we're cheering for him, even though we know goddamn well he's a sociopath and he murdering motherfuckers. But
I mean,
put us on the outside.
He just wants to be loved.
I know, and I'm right with him because I will love you. Anyway,
wants to be loved.
If you can make, okay, he really did. If you can make the stepfather that charming and that interesting on the outside, and we don't know nothing about him, that would take this movie so much further. But anyway, it released October 16, 2009, with a budget of $20 million. The box office brought in $31.1 million, which, it's 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 33% on Metacritic. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 63 because it's not bad. It just could have been a whole lot better. And, you know, if you like me and you like watching horror movies while you like just doing other stuff and you just need some noise in the background, this is a good movie for that. So, what you? So, what about you, Janae?
Give it a 50. It was all right.
Yeah, that's decent. Not too bad. Not too, yeah. You ready to bounce out to the souvenir shop?
Yes, because hated it.
It seems you survived. Well, before you go, join us in the souvenir shop.
So for the souvenir shop, I'm going to make this real simple and plain. You guys know that we always post the cover art the day that the show drops. So if you're listening to this when it drops, it's going to be right there. But if you're listening to this in the future, you're probably going to have to scroll. But the cover that I picked for today is all black. We just see a pair of hands reaching out with a tie, almost insinuating like somebody about to get strangled, which that does not happen in this movie. And I'm fine with that. But you know, this cover would go so much harder if everybody died in the movie. Just saying.
You know, I kind of like movies where everybody dies because
I do too.
It just depends.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just being silly. No, I agree with you, but I just feel like this one would have been so much better if he just got away with it. Let me see, because y'all let him get away at the end anyway. So you might as well just let him kill everybody. Anyway, and I wasn't gonna bring this up, but once again, where are the fucking siblings? In the poster of him standing atop of the basement with a knife in his hand, and then you see
they weren't main characters.
They weren't, but still, I need to see them on the cover. Like,
they don't put main characters on the covers. I mean, I'm sorry.
I was about to say Scream show be pulling, because Scream show did trick us a few times with that cover.
They normally put the main characters on the cover.
I'm just bitching about it because I'm just saying, like, if this is supposed to be like a family in danger, show me a family in danger. Like, I don't need to see Amber Heard. We've seen enough.
I mean, she's a main character.
She literally for the bikini. Literally for the bikini shots. And that's it. Literally it. Okay. Let's get into these park announcements. All the themes are out. By the time this show is available, you can go hit us up on our IG that I mentioned before, D180 Podcast. Click on the park themes highlights. From June all the way to September, you can submit movies for us to review on the podcast. You can either submit there under the park themes, or you can email us at destination180podcast@gmail.com. All you got to do is just say Survivor submission in the subject box and write whatever the hell you want to write in the email. If you just want to talk to us, you could do that too. But then don't forget, if you're listening, especially on Apple, leave us a review. We still got a 5-star rating, but that's only because people are only rating us 5 stars. We want to hear what y'all got to say about us too, because when you actually write, that helps us out way more than anything else. But we appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you. So sweet. Next week, we're going to be getting into The Hills Have Eyes. And I have not seen this movie, but Janae has. So I'm going to give Janae my predictions. My predictions are that there's going to be a token black person in the movie. Probably not going to make it. This movie came out, like mid-2000s? Yeah, they're not going to make it. There's probably going to be some type of pop culture reference made, and I'm going to leave my predictions at that because I don't know. I'm hoping that the makeup effects are good. I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to wish good makeup effects. I'm hoping. It's probably people looking at the podcast like, ooh, sis, you're going to be pissed. And it's probably some people like, oh, yeah. But I guess we'll find out next week, huh?
Yep.
So yeah, y'all know what I always say. If you're not a survivor, you was unmarked or you was dead. So link up with us in the park next week. We'll see you soon. Peace, y'all.
Bye, y'all.